What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey, still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. If you don't like it, you can have that seatbelt.
So a few months back, I made a video on how it looked like Ubisoft was bringing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora to the Nintendo Switch 2 based on a post by a developer on LinkedIn. And while I think that is still the case and that this game will eventually come to the Switch 2, upon further research, it looks like the game in question that I found information on may not have been for Avatar Frontiers, but in fact for The Division, the definitive edition. So in the last few days or so, it appears that The Division is getting some kind of a remaster, a remake, probably a remaster, that's going to be announced pretty soon. And this leak came out of Japan, no less, where a poster was spotted for a Division Definitive Edition, right? Now, this game has yet to be announced or officially announced yet. A lot of people were thinking that the game, based on a tease by Ubisoft dev, could be announced this weekend. But unless it happens today, it looks like that's not going to come to pass. But that doesn't mean that the game isn't legit and isn't a real thing. Now, the reason why I'm thinking that this game that I found info on a few months ago isn't Avatar, but is The Division, is because I found another posting. So before, with the old posting, one of the main reasons why I thought that it had to be Avatar is because of the mention of ray tracing. So there wasn't a lot of ray trace games that, at least on console, that use Snowdrop. And it was a somewhat recent game, and a lot of the other Snowdrop games were older. So I figured that it pretty much had to be Avatar. But if this game is coming out and it is a remaster, then it could definitely have ray tracing and other visual improvements. But one of the main reasons why I think that this game is actually The Division is because I found another posting from another Ubisoft dev and yet another unannounced project using Snowdrop. So this person was a technical artist working on an unannounced project from January 2024 to September 2025. It says, as a technical artist at Ubisoft, I'm working on an unannounced game on Snowdrop. As the owner of the technical briefings for Object Bank, I am setting specifications for each asset: poly count, materials, collisions, destroyable state, metrics, and cover. Finding the most optimized setup for outsourcing while keeping the visual intact. Now, this threw up a lot of flags for me because the game that he's talking about here seems to describe The Division. You're talking about collisions, you're talking about taking cover, you're talking about, at the bottom here, you're talking about trunk collision. Yeah. It sounds like a game with highly destructible environments, and if it's a game with highly destructible environments and it's on Snowdrop, it's more than likely The Division. So if we go back to the original post that I talked about, they were talking about various game aspects such as ray tracing, denoising, CPU and GPU culling, scattering, and upscaling. It says main research was done on Xbox Series S and Switch 2. Now that also points to this being a new version of The Division, because as you guys know, The Division was a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One game. So now this post makes a lot more sense because it looks like this person was working on the Xbox Series S and Switch 2 version of the game. And this game was never had an official version for PlayStation 5 or for Xbox Series. So now it's all starting to make sense. And another thing that throws up a flag here is the fact that on these two profiles, they're both working on an unannounced game for Ubisoft on Snowdrop, and they both stopped working on the game in September of 2025. So that right there tells me that this is definitely, they're talking about the same game. Because how many coincidences do you have to have there? So they're working on unannounced Ubisoft game using Snowdrop, and they both ended working on the project in the same exact month. I mean, that could be a coincidence, but that's a whole lot of coincidences. So, yeah, I'm expecting this game to be announced pretty soon. Maybe even at a Nintendo Direct. Like, if the main reason for this remaster or whatever is the Nintendo Switch 2, then expect it to be announced at the next Direct. But let me know what you guys think. Would you be picking this game up? I think this actually is going to be a thing because it sounds like the Division 3 just lost its studio head kind of, or its like director, because they went to go work on another franchise. So looks like maybe the Division 3 isn't coming out too soon, and maybe this will, kind of take its place for a while. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section.